Very good, Stan. And nice to see you too, Mona. Wow, 24 years already. It seems like yesterday that I received a call from Mona Rice, now Jodri, and Sharon Marshall at SODI head office, which was in WADA, to inform me that I was one of the five, oh my, one of the five regional workers that had been selected. Diabetes mellitus doesn't know or care about boundaries, let alone how old someone is. And this was the field that I was keen to work in. My first exposure to this lifelong condition had been through my grandmother, and later on when I worked as nutrition manager for 14 years at our local nursing home, roughly half of those residents had diabetes. So I was curious about this disease, and I was completely blown away when I accepted one of the greatest challenges of my life. I'm Odawa. I'm from Ucumcong, unceded territories on Manitoulin Island, Ontario. And to go away to work alone down south, I didn't even drive in the cities. I was just learning to drive in Sudbury, the biggest urban area here. I didn't know anyone at all in the region I was going to. I was completely shocked when I was told I'm going down to be the West Central worker. So I was down in Mohawk country, and there's a bit of history with Mohawk and Odawa, Ojibwe. So it was quite daunting. So it was very exciting as well. Um, I'm just trying to see my notes here. It was scary, yeah, very scary. It's very scary when you're starting out, but also it was a brand new initiative, and I was really curious to see what's going to happen. SODI was actually our forerunner in the awakening phase of our Indian country here in Canada, about our teachings being put into practice for restoration, retention, and utilization of our ways as a foundation, our culture, our language, our philosophy for healing and wellness, essentially, and in this area of diabetes mellitus. So it was exciting. These achievements were also through the guidance, feedback, and encouragement of all local elders everywhere, not only in Southern Ontario, but up here as well. There's a lot of people watching me. Everybody had advice. So I listened to everyone's advice, and we'd share it amongst ourselves as SODI sisters when we got together at our quarterly meetings. So we worked in isolation, and we had huge areas to work with. My region was one of the lowest numbers, about 35,000 at that time. My office was in Mississaugas of New Credit, and I lived in Brantford, and I traveled home almost every weekend. So looking back, I have no idea how I did it, but I was young then. So it was very exciting to meet people from all over Ontario, all the other SODI workers, the late Peggy Monaig and Barbara White-Eye, Carol Loft and Roz. So it was exciting, Dr. Lillian McGregor and Bill Messenger. It was so awesome. And the late Casey Berry. It was great to meet all of these people who are such wonderful cheerleaders, and exciting, and it was scary at times because we were all frontline workers. We each had different skills, and we came together, and it was almost like we took the medical world by surprise, kind of, and who are these Nishnabs coming here, rather than the other way around, what we'd been conditioned to. So I was always very appreciative of that experience. It was like putting a huge puzzle together, carrying out the vision and the mission of the elders and the team that had been there before us, who saw this, what could happen. So my own personal SODI experience as regional diabetes coordinator was very educational and rewarding. And since SODI, I've still remained within the field of diabetes through Chiefs of Ontario and a couple of projects reducing burden of diabetes in First Nations people in Ontario. And now we're in reducing intergenerational impact of diabetes on First Nation communities. So my foot is still in there. My heart is still with people with diabetes, right into healing and wellness, even here, especially here in the shelter for victims of family violence. So a great big thank you is in order to SODI, to the Indigenous Diabetes Health Circle allies for their support and advocacy, and ensuring that this project not only began, but also succeeded, and which is now celebrating its 25th anniversary. Such a remarkable success. I don't think anybody ever expected it to last the first year. And it was tricky sometimes, I tell you. But we made it with the help of each other. We had a strong team. Our husbands, our families were part of the team. I look forward to seeing the many new future achievements that will transpire. Biggest congratulations to Indigenous Diabetes Health Circle, aka SODI, and their 25th anniversary. Back to you, Stan.